The Earth is really big. With a radius of 6,400 kilometers and a mass of 6 septillion kilograms, it eclipses every living thing on it. And at one point it was thought to be the center of the universe, and to some people it still is. But can we actually destroy the Earth? Ironically, our own technological evolution could very well lead to our own destruction. So let's look at 10 incredible ways on how to destroy the Earth. At number 10, a vacuum energy detonation. A fun but ridiculous theory claims that a vacuum could be thriving with vast amounts of particles and antiparticles, which would create an enormous amount of energy. And the vacuum would only have to be the size of a light bulb in order to annihilate the entire Earth. The problem with this theory is that no method exists in creating these bubbles, because they are quantum effects which are spontaneous, and they cannot be created artificially. So this method is virtually improbable, and it's just a fun theory, so don't take it seriously, and do not worry about a vacuum energy detonation killing all of us anytime soon. At number 9, moving Earth itself. There's several ways that you can destroy Earth by either colliding it with a different planet, or directing it towards the sun. One method would involve building very large solar sails, several times larger than the Earth. So first you would have to figure out how to refine raw materials from a very large asteroid, and then secondly you would have to figure out how to attach these very large solar sails to Earth itself. And by the time you figured this out, you'd also have to blow up the moon somehow. Another crazy method would involve steering asteroids past Earth. These asteroids would have to be hundreds of miles wide, and it would likely take billions of years before you could actually steer Earth. And you're better off just steering a very large asteroid into hitting Earth. And we'll talk about that theory a little bit later in this video. At number 8, creating a mini black hole. Any mass can be theoretically converted down to the point where the escape velocity would be equal to the speed of light. This can be determined by using the Schwarzschild radius calculation, which determines that the Earth would have to be compressed down to a 9mm radius in order to be transformed into a theoretical black hole. So there's a few possibilities in what could actually happen to Earth at this point. One of them is that there would be a massive explosion caused by Hawking radiation, and if somehow you made it past this event, you would be completely teared apart by gravitational forces. Okay, so the good news is that we cannot create a real black hole right now. But if you want to try your luck with a black hole, try to find a very large one, because you just might have a slim chance of surviving the tidal forces and being ripped apart. At number 7, mining the Earth. Yes, you can theoretically mine the Earth to a point where it is completely scattered across in space. This is probably the most comical way in destroying the Earth, but you need something more than a shovel. So try to imagine the biggest electromagnetic gun, which is hundreds of miles wide. It would have to launch millions of tons a second, past the escape velocity of Earth. Add a few thousand more of these guns and you could start ripping the Earth apart in about a century. And this is not to mention that you would have to figure out a way to get the magma, the core, and other explosive things on Earth outside of orbit, which would be virtually impossible. At number 6, an artificial collision. Anything could be destroyed if you hit it hard enough. This concept is simple and it's also scalable. You can either find an object which is over half the mass of the Earth and launch it at 11 kilometers per second towards the green little planet, or you can find an asteroid which weighs several trillion tons and launch it at 90% the speed of light towards Earth. Obviously you would need some sort of state-of-the-art propulsion system attached to these asteroids, which is why this method is very improbable, but it is still possible. At number 5, an antimatter reaction. Antimatter is the opposite of normal matter, and its subatomic particles have properties which are opposite to its normal counterpart. Its electrical charges are reversed, and it completely annihilates into pure energy when it contacts normal matter. Since the Earth weighs several septillion kilograms, you would need the equivalent amount of antimatter in order to annihilate everything. So far we've only produced a few nanograms of antimatter, and the sun's gonna die out before we can even produce enough of this stuff to even make a notable explosion. There are other crazy theories, including multiple detonations, which could fragment the Earth, but this is one method you will not have to lose sleep on. At number 4, making a real wormhole. Yet another method relies on future advancements in science and technology. If we can find a way to transport matter across immeasurable distances, it could lead to developing a very powerful weapon. For example, a wormhole connecting Earth to a neutron star would work well, as the gamma rays would destroy every living thing and its temperature would melt the Earth into oblivion. But the icing on the cake would involve transferring its gravitational field, which is over 200 billion times of Earth's gravity. In that given case, Earth would crumble into a highly compressed state, and the solar system would start to destabilize. But the question remains, how big would this wormhole have to be in order to cause this mass chaos? At number 3, creating a Van Neumann machine. This self-replicating machine consumes raw materials in order to expand its construct to an endless and horrifying degree. 94 out of 118 elements occur naturally on Earth, so this type of machine would have to consume and convert all of these 94 elements in order to achieve pure annihilation of the Earth. This machine would also have to devise a way to consume the Earth's 6,000 Kelvin core through meticulous deconstruction. Improbable in today's technology, but it might be possible in the future. Now personally, this is a really bad way to die, and I mean, who wants to be killed by replicators? At number 2, enclose yourself around a space-time bubble. The Earth will eventually be destroyed. In about 5 billion years, the Sun will go supernova, and in about 1 sextillion years, yes, that is a real number, Earth will decay into positrons and pions. Obviously, you would have to hide out in a space-time bubble, so you can actually witness this event. But after all the waiting, you'll probably be the only one left in the universe, and by that time you'll literally die from boredom. And technically, you're not really destroying the Earth, so this method doesn't really count. At number 1, you can try to contact a hostile alien race. Yes, this is probably a method which not everyone's going to agree on, but just hear me out. So, if there is life out there, would it be a really good idea to contact them? This topic is up for a lot of debate. But imagine a life form which is 1,000 or 10,000 years more technologically advanced than us. They could probably destroy us in an instant. This race would probably view us as primitive, and so far we have luckily avoided their wrath. But what if they think we are destined to be a threat to them? Or they view our basic nature as atrocious to the planet we actually live on? And this might not even translate into an entire alien race. It could just be one individual who is free from controls and rules. And this particular individual might decide to destroy humanity on its own. Anyways, I don't know if aliens are going to destroy us or not, but it's just one method to consider. Anyways, thanks for watching, please like the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel.